The musty air of my grandparents' basement always held a certain melancholic charm, a repository of forgotten lives and dusty relics. It was during a reluctant clean-out, fueled by a morbid sense of duty, that I stumbled upon a box of old VHS tapes. Most were home movies, grainy glimpses of childhood birthday parties and awkward family gatherings. But one tape, unlabeled and strangely heavy, piqued my curiosity. Back in my apartment, the rewind mechanism whirred with a reluctant groan, and then, static. Not the gentle fuzz I expected, but a harsh, jarring crackle that seemed to vibrate through the room. The screen flickered to life, revealing a scene rendered in the crude, yet strangely captivating, style of 1960s claymation. Three characters, Dean, Chester, and Tom, their clay features distorted into perpetual sneers and vacant stares, were hunched over a bar. The animation itself was off. The movements were jerky, unnatural, as if the clay was fighting against its own form. They were talking, or rather, mumbling through a haze of audio distortion, about a topic that immediately set my teeth on edge: how to get strippers to like them. The dialogue, when decipherable, was laced with a vulgarity that felt jarringly anachronistic for the supposed era. Swear words I'd only ever heard uttered in hushed tones in gritty R-rated films, not from the mouth of a clay figurine from the 60s, assaulted my ears. Fuck, Chester slurred, his clay eyes blinking independently. Shit, Dean grumbled, his head wobbling precariously. They were attempting some kind of convoluted plan, involving cheap cologne and exaggerated compliments, the details lost in the cacophony of muffled voices and unsettling sound effects. Then, the scene abruptly shifted. The bar dissolved, leaving only Dean and Chester, illuminated by the lurid glow of what appeared to be a strip club. The atmosphere grew more charged, the audio becoming even more indistinct, a frantic, almost desperate mumble. And then it happened. The camera zoomed in on Tom, his clay form contorted in what could only be described as agony. Beside him, a fourth character, Howard, his features equally grotesque, emerged from the shadows. What followed was a 10-second blur of explicit, horrifying imagery. The distorted audio became a symphony of screams, raw and unadulterated, that painted a sickening picture of violation. It was so visceral, so deeply disturbing, that my stomach roiled. This wasn't just adult content, it was something profoundly, unsettlingly wrong. The animation, with its unnatural plasticity, only amplified the horror, making the depicted act feel even more alien and grotesque. Just as I felt I might gag, the scene abruptly cut. The nightmarish tableau vanished, replaced by the serene, almost serene, imagery of a nature documentary. A calm, authoritative voice began narrating the mating habits of migratory birds. The contrast was so stark, so jarring, that I stared at the screen, my mind struggling to reconcile the two realities. I wasn't scared, not exactly. It was a different kind of unease, a deep-seated bewilderment that settled in my bones. What the hell had I just watched? What kind of show was this, and why had it existed? I spent days trying to find any trace of it online. I scoured forums, databases, even contacted old television historians. Nothing. The tape was a ghost, and its contents, a nightmare of clay and profanity, remained stubbornly unknown. In my desperation, I tried to transfer the footage to a DVD, then to upload it, hoping someone, somewhere, might recognize it. My efforts were clumsy and ultimately futile. Eventually, I found someone who claimed to have expertise in digitizing obscure media. I sent them the tape, a knot of anticipation and dread tightening in my chest. The response was swift and chilling. A terse email, barely a few sentences. "This material is illegal," it read. It had to be destroyed. No explanation, no further details. Just a pronouncement of its illegality and its subsequent annihilation. To this day, I have no idea what I saw. The memory lingers, a disturbing, unresolvable question mark in the landscape of my mind. A lost 1960s claymation, steeped in obscenity and violence, existing for a fleeting moment in the dusty confines of my grandparents' basement, only to be erased from existence, leaving me with nothing but the unsettling echo of what might have been.